Now available in paperback. Those who refuse the gift of eternal life are condemned to wander in the darkness of eternal night. Get your copy of Eternal Night at online booksellers today. Another critical question to ask as related to the high value man. Are Pookie, Ray Ray, and Mr. Clean considered high value men? Because it seems like most of the females that your high value man goes out here to pursue are the same ones that your Pookie, Ray Ray, and Mr. Clean go after. So, who determines what a high value man is at the end of the day? And that's another critical question I have to ask because the so called high value man seems to only see his value through the eyes of a woman. So that shows me how your high value man primarily is coming from a gynocentric perspective. And coming from that gynocentric perspective really is something that devalues the high value man because he's seeing his only value coming from the woman, and he sees his highest value coming from being validated by the woman and getting the woman's approval. And when I take a critical examination of a man who goes out here and determines his value based solely on the woman, that is a very weak man, and that's a man who really does not understand his value, especially his value as related to the Most High living God. Because, a man who understands his value, understands what makes him valuable, is not a woman approving of him, because when a woman goes out here and approves of him, that's him going out here and making that woman into a god and putting that woman on a pedestal, and that's making that woman into something that she isn't. So your high value man, when you really look at him, he's participating in idolatry. When it comes down to women, he puts the women on pedestals, he makes the women into goddesses, and he goes out here and worships the woman. But when you look at it, that's the so-called high value man lowering his value because he's sitting there making it look like the woman has all the value, when in actuality he doesn't understand his own value. And because he's insecure about his own value, he's got to go out here and try to overcompensate by putting on an expensive suit, going out here buying expensive attachments like expensive phones, expensive cars, and expensive jewelry to get her attention. Meanwhile, your Pookie and Mr. Clean, who understand their value, they're not doing any of this stuff at all. And your Pookie, who usually is a guy with usually no education from a top university like a high value man, is not a part of any fraternity or sorority except the club he's a part of in prison in some cases, and he has no job and no money coming in. Yet your Pookie will go out here and get these dime piece women to pursue relationships with that the high value man covets, and he will go out here and have the sexual relations that the high value man wants to have with these dime piece women. And the same thing can be said for your Mr. Clean, aka the white man. He will go out here in a pair of flip flops and some raggedy shorts like I saw in a Kid Organic video and a t-shirt, and he will boldly go out here and approach these same black women that the high value man wants to get all dressed up for and show off all of his credentials for, this white man will come there in a pair of flip-flop sandals, shorts that are all dirty, and a t-shirt, and then get the attention of the dime piece woman that the high value man wants to go get dressed up for and leave a first impression for, and try to get her to see him as having value, when the big problem with the high value man is he does not value himself. And because he does not value himself, it doesn't matter how many expensive suits he has, how many expensive pieces of jewelry he wears, or whatever expensive phone he has in his hand. He does not see his own value, and because he does not see his own value, he winds up still continuing to go to the places where these low value women are in an effort to try to get their attention and their approval, not understanding that he needs to go out here and find his own value as related to the Most High living God, and he needs to find out what his role is as a man before he steps out here and looks to pursue a woman, because his reasons for pursuing women are all based on him having this woman validate him and this woman give him value, and he deifies this woman and looks to make her into a god. Meanwhile, this same woman he's looking to chase after does not see him as a god. She sees Mr. Clean as a god, and this is why she will go out here and pay attention to Mr. Clean, and she will go out here and pursue a relationship with Mr. Clean, who is wearing the flip-flops and the t-shirt and the shorts that are all dirty, because she sees value in Mr. Clean more than she would in this high-value black man who is wearing the $4,000, $5,000 suit, the $400 shoes, and driving out of a $100,000 car. She does not see the black man's value because she does not value him as a man, and even worse, the high-value black man does not value himself as a man because he continues to seek approval and validation of women who do not value him as a man, do not appreciate him as a man, and he continues to enter social circles where he is not valued for the content of his character. He only bases his value on the color of the money in his wallet and the attention it can get him from the women in the communities that he's in. This is why he stays in low-level communities, because he doesn't have the confidence to go out here and enter social circles where he will be challenged. No, he goes to easy social circles where he can appear to be this big shot, where he can appear to be this big wheel, and he can appear to be somebody that he believes will have higher value than the other men as related to economics. But oftentimes, when we take this guy apart, you start to see how little value he has in terms of character, because he doesn't have confidence in himself, and those insecurities are oftentimes the thing that lead to him winding up sabotaging good relationships with good women and winding up getting involved with female predators, because female predators are primarily attracted to your guys who go out here and have lots of attachments, because those attachments make it look like this guy has resources they can go out here and try to get, and that's why he will get the women trying to go get the bag, and that's why he winds up getting jacked up by this woman, either in a robbery, or he winds up getting jacked up by this woman getting a baby with him and then getting him on child support, or in some cases your high value man will get married to these women who are low value. They will plan to get a divorce, or even worse, these females will plan a murder of your high value man so they can inherit all of his bag and have all of his swag while going out here and getting involved with a Pookie. And one of the things your high value man does not understand about women is it's not about the money that you have, it's about the attraction she has for you. And she has that attraction within the first 5 seconds of looking at you. So it doesn't matter again about how much money you have, because she has not invested her emotions in you if she has not decided within that first 5 seconds of looking at you. And that's why many of these women that the high value man chases have no emotional connection to him, because they're not emotionally available to him. Usually, in a lot of cases, when it comes down to your high value man, she just sees him as a beta provider, and her emotions are attached to another man, either it be Mr. Clean or Pookie. Her emotions are attached to those kind of guys, but the high value man thinks he can get that type of woman by having more money, more education, and more status. But what really attracted her was related to her emotions, and she's still emotionally connected to that man. And this is something the high value man does not really understand about women. When a woman forms an emotional attachment and an emotional bond to a man, that's a bond that's next to impossible to break, because this emotional bond is the reason why your woman will sit here with a Pookie when he's been in and out of jail 4 or 5 times, or she'll practically go insane over a Mr. Clean who is married and has kids, is because she's formed an emotional bond with that man. And when a woman forms a bond with a man, it is nearly impossible to break, especially if she's had sex with that man, because the two of them have become one. She now has that man's DNA as a part of her DNA, and she is bonded to that man. So when she gets involved with Mr. High Value, she does not see his value outside of the stuff he has, and she does not see him as anything more than a wallet, because her feelings are still tied to that other guy. And because those feelings are still tied to that other guy, she's still having a relationship with him. And all that guy has to do is either show up or make a phone call, and every part of the relationship she had with him will be over, and she'll be back over there with Pookie or Mr. Clean. And there's nothing that high value man can do. There's no amount of money he can spend to make that change. That's just what happens with women when they have emotional ties to other people. Those emotional ties cannot be broken, and this is just something that the high value man does not understand. He's thinking he's going to come in here with this money and get these women, but all he gets himself is a whole lot of trouble. So your high value man, he's sitting there thinking he has the highest value in the eyes of most women, but because most women are emotional, they see Pookie and Mr. Clean as having the highest value in their eyes. So most of your women, if they've gone out here and they had a choice between the high value man with the suit and the tie and the 6 figures and Mr. Clean and Pookie, Mr. Clean will be number 1, Pookie will be number 2, and your high value man will be last. And I say dead last because he may wind up dead before he winds up getting chosen last. And that's a sad fact that your high value black male does not want to understand, that when it comes down to a choice, it doesn't matter about what you have, it's about who you are. And you have to start focusing on who you are, because once you find your value, you're not going to want to go where these women who are pursuing Pookie and Mr. Clean are, you're going to be in another social circle. And in that social circle, you're going to have the confidence to go out here and approach the quality women who want to be a wife, and the quality women who will have the values that will allow you to have a teacher who can teach your children when you go out here and build a family. And you're going to have a woman who will want to go out here and build a marriage and not just be used and abused the way many of the high value men want to go out here and use and abuse women, because these guys, they really don't want a relationship. What they do, what they're angry about, is that they can't do the stuff that Pookie and Mr. Clean are doing, because they see Pookie and Mr. Clean getting easy sex from low value women. They want to be able to go out here and be whoremongers like them, and they don't want to go out here, build a family, build a household. They want to go out here and get that easy sex because they have low self-esteem and low self-worth, and they don't value themselves, and they only get value by getting that validation from these women. Again, showing me how they have a deeply gynocentric mindset, and why some of these guys, as I see it, desperately need some mental help, because a man does not have to announce his value to other people. He does not need to use attachments to get the attention of other people. He has the confidence to go out here and be himself, and it's who he is that shows and defines his value. It's who he presents to the world that presents his value, and the positive energy he radiates can attract women that are considered on a far higher levels, because those women see him as a leader, those women see him as an authority figure, and they see his masculine presence and masculine energy, and that's what makes him attractive to them. And that all comes from a man understanding his intangibles of manhood and understanding his value as a man. So if you want to learn about your value as a man and break out of the high value man gimmick, you can pick up my book, Stop Simping, Why Men Don't Need Finance to Get Romance, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find this book on Smashwords, the iBookstore, and Google Play, and it will transform your life and help you find your value as a man, and help you learn more about the intangibles of being a man. And if you want to see me make more videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, or my Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers, The Temptation of John Haynes. Given to temptation, pick up this action-packed African-American paranormal romance. Get The Temptation of John Haynes in paperback and e-readers today.